It's fun because things are actually happening. Very different than most of the time when people get elected.
And I will shut down the federal Department of Education, and we will move everything back to the state.
Most of the time when people get elected, they claim all these things when they're running for president. Then they get into office and not much changes.
Individualize education and do it with the love for their children.
And in fact, a lot of what they campaigned on, they don't practice at all. Great example is the Obama administration. The Hope and Change website had to be changed because there was a bunch of stuff in there about whistleblowers.
No, I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of these laws.
Protecting whistleblowers, which they didn't do at all. There was one of the worst administrations for whistleblowers.
Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David rip into Barack Obama's carefully polished persona, tearing apart the shine to reveal the cracks beneath. They roast his failed policies, call out a legacy built on division, and expose an obsession with image instead of genuine leadership. What remains isn't the hero his fans idolized, but a hollow figure who sold America on hope and cashed out in disappointment. The legend of Obama doesn't just fade, it's shattered into pieces, gone for good.
Obama, during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
I don't understand how we got so toxic, so divided, and so bitter.
He said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that.
Did you have a high opinion of him before?
Yeah, I did. I did, just as an intelligent person, a statesman. He's probably like caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You think you're going to do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie about Trump.
The childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
The thing that got me was that very fine people thing, the white supremacist thing. They just kept trying to say that he was a racist.
When he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you stuff. You're running for president and you're hawking merchandise. Gold sneakers, $100,000 watch. Why are you selling the watch? What are you doing?
Which is this thing that I think worked in like 2017. I don't think it works anymore. I don't think people believe it anymore. We've gotten numb to all this stuff.
Talking to Rogan, and Joe says, look, let's face it, Obama was one of our best presidents we've had. When him and I are, I'm paraphrasing, to now switching from that was just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even a year ago, to now this message here. Go ahead, Rob.
We did trust the government. But there's this, which is such a weird thing to say. You know, I used to think it was the Obama administration, but boy, Obama during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
Barack Obama has spent years riding on an image so shiny it hides the flaws beneath. He was the president who vowed hope, change, unity, and progress. But when Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David take aim, that illusion shatters instantly. Obama isn't the flawless icon his fans idolize. He's the politician who perfected the art of performance while stumbling on substance. A man who turned charisma into a brand, yet left behind a legacy that feels more like a cautionary tale than a triumph.
Get a glass of water? This is not a prank. You never seen it?
No.
It's amazing. He gets a glass of Flint tap water. I swear to God, he drinks it like this. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I'm still waiting for my water. I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
it's
that.
It's 100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? No, you bring water on stage.
Rogan doesn't bother pretending Obama was anything extraordinary. He goes straight for the jugular, blasting the way Obama drifted into the presidency on catchphrases instead of real solutions. Obama didn't win on policy, he won because he sounded smooth. He wasn't a statesman, he was a salesman. A man who pitched speeches like products, knowing that a calm, cool delivery could mesmerize crowds into believing they'd witnessed greatness. But as Rogan points out, speeches don't put food on the table, slogans don't protect borders, and charisma doesn't pay the bills. Obama sold the dream, pocketed the check, and left America with the hangover.
There is what Obama said. On the same video, there is what Trump actually said. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting lie. And he's talking about George Washington. He said George Washington had slaves. Let's play it.
On both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down a very, very important statue from Robert E. Lee to another name. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Excuse me, how about Thomas Jefferson? Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists.
The news has said that lie over and over and over and over and over again. The mainstream corporate-controlled news that wanted this narrative said that over and over and over again. They repeat.
Patrick Bet-David sharpens the blade even more, calling out the arrogance built into the Obama brand, the smugness that dripped from every perfectly staged appearance. Obama didn't just run for office, he built a cult of personality. He sold himself as history's chosen one, a figure above politics, the answer to everything America supposedly craved. But behind the polished marketing was nothing more than mediocrity dressed up in eloquence. Bet-David doesn't pull punches. Obama was less a leader and more an influencer, a trailblazer of style over substance politics that turned the presidency into pure performance.
Tell me what place Trump wouldn't go to on media where they would trash him. Where would he not go to? Would he not go to CNN? Would he not go to MSNBC? Would he not go to Jimmy Fallon? Would he not go to Jimmy Kimmel? Would he not go to? Would he not? He went everywhere, right? Now, let me flip this on you. How many times have you seen Obama, Clinton, Hillary, any of those guys
Biden
go on Fox ever? How many times? The answer is never.
And the failures weren't hidden. They were everywhere. Take healthcare, Obama's so-called signature achievement. It was supposed to fix the system, cut costs, and protect families. Instead, it spiraled into a bureaucratic nightmare that left millions frustrated, overpaying, or flat out losing coverage. Obama's lofty promises collapsed the moment reality hit. Rogan rips that hypocrisy wide open. A president who swore you could keep your doctor, keep your plan, and save money ended up delivering the exact opposite. That wasn't transformation, it was deception, dressed up with bright lights and loud applause.
I think the best people age the hardest. I think Obama was probably like a very idealistic young man.
Oh, Lord, what's going on now? Who's hollering? I can't even see it.
Who really wanted to change the world. And that dude aged more than anybody.
I mean, I'm getting old, so I can't hear that well. I can't see that good.
Who aged the least? Trump. Trump just
This is something that
he just brushed that shit off his shoulders like it was nothing.
Foreign policy? A disaster. Bet-David mocks the idea of Obama as some master strategist. Under his watch came ISIS, Libya's collapse, Syria's humiliation, drawing red lines only to erase them. He backed down when strength was needed and interfered when silence was wiser. Peace? He left chaos. That Nobel Peace Prize wasn't irony, it was a joke. Obama thrived on applause, but applause isn't leadership. He dreamed of being a visionary, yet vision without execution is delusion. Bet-David crushes the myth of unity, too. Race tensions worsened, trust in government collapsed, polarization deepened. Obama promised to bridge divides, but all he left was a nation more fractured than ever.
Because America, to me, is movies, but they got arrogance. And they moved like they're going to control you forever. Abusive policies, the LGBTQ agenda, the woke policies. And by the way, Peter Thiel said it best when he was on a podcast with Barry Weiss. He said, you realize when Musk got up and he says, this is the most monumental election of all time. Peter Thiel, who's a billionaire, very important guy behind closed doors,
And then there's the Democratic Party. Obama was meant to secure their dominance for a generation, but under him, the party crumbled. By the time he walked out, Democrats had lost the House, the Senate, and a historic number of state seats. Bet David calls him what he was, the smiling face of Democratic decay, looking sharp while his party fell apart. He preaches climate change from private jets, talks hardship while pocketing millions. Rogan doesn't even need to exaggerate. The hypocrisy tells its own joke. The so-called man of the people morphed into a billionaire celebrity, still strutting onto stages with smug lectures about democracy, blind to the rot he helped create.
You know, Peter Thiel was on Barry Weiss, a great podcast they did. He said, the last time identity politics worked was in 2008. It hasn't worked since 2008. 2008?
Obama.
He's saying Obama. And here's why he said it worked in 2008. He made such an interesting point. He said the reason why identity politics worked in 2008 was because Obama could go up there and saying, I'm the black person you've been waiting to vote for. And then he can go and says, I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, straight, gay, well, you know. And then he would go to... And the reason why he could get away with it in 2008 was because social media wasn't yet at a point where things would go instant and you'd be held.
He paints himself as the wise elder, the voice of reason, the one man who truly understands. But Rogan fires back, Obama doesn't understand. He created the very mess. He birthed the influencer presidency, shallow politics built on speeches without solutions. Bet David cuts deeper. Obama was never a revolutionary. He was a marketer. His gift wasn't governing, it was selling himself. He branded politics, making voters feel good while giving them little. His presidency didn't lift the working class, it betrayed them. Wall Street thrived, elites prospered, Silicon Valley soared, while ordinary Americans lost jobs, saw wages stagnate, and costs rise. Obama's America worked for the wealthy, but crushed everyone else. His legacy isn't bold policies or historic achievements, it's branding. A presidency remembered for speeches, slogans, and looking cool. But cool doesn't feed families, doesn't secure borders, doesn't end wars, doesn't rebuild trust. Cool fades. And when it did, Obama stood exposed as nothing more than an empty suit.
Remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening.
Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States
to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect Libyan civilians.
The myth of Obama was always fragile, and Rogan and Bet David don't just scratch it, they crush it. They revealed that behind the soaring speeches stood a politician who failed to deliver. Behind the branding was weakness, and behind the smile was a man more obsessed with legacy than real change. Obama didn't save America, he sold it a product. And like any overhyped product, once the shine faded, the flaws screamed through. In the end, he doesn't tower as a giant, he lingers as a warning that charisma isn't competence, speeches aren't solutions, and branding isn't leadership. Rogan and Bet David expose him not as a savior, but as a salesman who peddled hope, delivered disappointment, and walked away richer than ever. The illusion is shattered, the myth erased. What's left is the hollow truth. Barack Obama was never the leader America needed, only the performer it fell for. His legacy isn't just weak, it's empty.
And Biden got lucky.
Yeah.
It was such a profound moment. Meaning, now, what took place? Guess who lost all credibility in the room behind closed doors when everybody's waiting to see what he and she have to say? Guess who they are?
Is
Barack Obama
and Hillary?
and Michelle.
Oh, Michelle.
You used to sit in a room and you'd say something Schumer, you'd say something Pelosi, you'd say something Hillary, you'd say something Bill, you'd say something, everybody's like, Brock, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
The last one you go to, right? And I was like, hey, you guys just go live at your Martha's Vineyard type of stuff.
Yeah.
Your strategy did.
The aura of brilliance Obama projected was never strategy. It was survival. He rode charisma like a wave, but when it crashed, all that remained was a coastline of failure. His presidency left America divided, promises broken, and a nation unsure of what he even stood for beyond empty slogans. Hope and change aged into pure irony. Rogan and Bet David don't spare his post-presidency either. Lavish speaking fees, Netflix deals, a beach mansion while preaching climate change, it all reeks of a man cashing out his brand. Obama wasn't changing America, he was building his own empire. And the Democratic Party paid the price. He could fill arenas, but he couldn't build lasting strength. He left them gutted, leaderless, scrambling for direction. The proof? The chaos they face every election cycle. That's Obama's legacy. A party hooked on his image, helpless without him, and still wondering how it all went so wrong.
Oh, yeah, go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country. Yeah. We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto-pen.
Obama's second term, he did none. Obama's first term, I think he did one. And Bush's first and second term, he did none on day one. This guy's come out the gates. One moment he's talking to World Economic Forum. Another second you're looking at him, he's talking to California, chewing out, Bass and Mayor Bass and talking to the folks there. Next minute he's in Vegas talking about no tax on tips. Next minute, you're seeing him talking to military folks. Next minute, you're seeing him on the...
Bet David pushes harder, painting Obama as the ultimate salesman, one who closed the deal but never delivered the product. The box looked perfect, the wrapping flawless, the pitch smooth, but inside was nothing. Americans bought in, only to discover they'd been conned by the greatest political marketer of modern times. He turned the presidency into a performance, a TED Talk on steroids, where applause outweighed achievement. The myth of Obama as an untouchable statesman crumbles. In truth, he was the face of style over substance, a man who charmed celebrities, dominated late-night shows, graced magazine covers, but stumbled in actual governance. His charisma may have carved his place in history books, but history itself won't be kind when results are measured. Strip away the spin, and the failures are impossible to miss. Rogan makes sure the hypocrisy doesn't slip by.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Hi.
Aw, hi, you're both together.
Come
Oh,
on.
it's good to
How many
see you.
times has she done that walk? What do you think?
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. The words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express.
And we're gonna have some
thank
fun.
You both.
Say it.
It means so much. And we're gonna have some fun with this
That's
too.
right. So obviously, she's not a professional actress. Probably did 10, 20, 30 takes. This is a business of can't stand each other behind closed doors.
The so-called champion of the underdog never had a problem cozying up to billionaires, vacationing with elites, and thriving in the very circles he once pretended to fight. His leadership wasn't about lifting others. It was about securing his own permanent seat at the table. And the irony? Even his speeches sound stale now. The same pauses, the same cadence, the same rehearsed punchlines. They no longer sparkle. They play like reruns of a show that once ruled prime time, but now fills late-night slots no one cares to watch. The magic is gone, and what's left is the faint memory of brilliance that was really just sleight of hand. By the time Rogan and Bet David finish, the image of Obama as a towering figure is rubble. What remains is a man whose greatest trick was convincing America he was more than he was, A man who promised transformation, but delivered stagnation. A man who posed as bigger than history, yet may be remembered only as a fleeting brand, an overpriced illusion finally exposed. The knockout blow is clear. Obama isn't the giant his admirers imagine. He's the case study in how image can outrun substance, but never forever. Because the truth always catches up, and no amount of branding can hide a hollow legacy.